What if I told you that the traveler's real twin is in some other world chasing after what they believe to be their sibling? Hi, before we begin, I need to tell you that I'll be introducing some Honkai concepts in this video, but I promise there won't be any spoilers, so please be mindful in the comments as to not spoil anyone who hasn't completed the story yet, including me. Now that is out of the way, there is something very interesting about the description of Finn's creation of the current Teyvat. In the book Before Sun and Moon, it is said that the primordial one was born from an egg and that it used the broken eggshell to separate the universe from the microcosm of the world. And the microcosm of the world is almost surely referring to Teyvat. The imagery this evokes is of a Teyvat that is part of but still separate from the rest of the universe, as though it was just hanging out in its little bubble. And that bubble binds me more than just a metaphor. We know that Genshin and Honkai take place within the same universe. This has been confirmed, and we even have Genshin characters in Honkai, like Fischl or Andreas, not to mention the parallels between certain other characters. And we were actually given some information regarding how this universe is structured through Honkai. Namely, there is a place called the Sea of Quanta and a tree called the Imaginary Tree. As the two first living entities within this universe, they have a long-standing rivalry, with the Sea of Quanta trying to drown the tree and the Imaginary Tree trying to absorb the sea. This tree is special because it doesn't grow leaves but rather worlds. These worlds, however, sometimes fail to prevail, and when that happens they fall from the tree and into the Sea of Quanta. There they become fragmented versions of what they once were and may even be unstable. These worlds are known as bubble universes. So today I am proposing that Teyvat may be one of these bubble universes. Now this is highly speculative, it's just my theory, please treat it as nothing else. But there is definitely something weird going on in Teyvat. I don't think that's a statement anyone would disagree with. We first heard Scaramouche commenting on how the stars in the sky were fake, which, if you think of this bubble a little more literally and consider that it is separate from the rest of the universe, actually makes sense, but that's just a little observation. Next, we heard the Abyss sibling telling the traveler to continue their journey so that they too could learn the truth of this world. And said truth was recently brought back into the story by Dottore, using it as a bargaining chip with Nahida. And if the Dendro Archon was interested in it, then it most certainly isn't information that is available within Irminsul. If this truth is that Teyvat is a bubble universe, then it would make sense for it not to be recorded in a tree, as Irminsul only stores information regarding Teyvat itself. But Blue, this truth could be anything, you say, and you are right, it could, but it is once you bring the twins into this whole mess that things get really interesting. First off, in Honkai it has been implied that if one were to go to the Imaginary Tree, they would die, so as world hoppers, Eternal Mean must have been either jumping directly from a leaf to the next, or been accessing new worlds through the Sea of Quanta. I'm honestly not sure if the first option is even possible, but assuming that it is, and that they somehow suddenly found themselves in the Sea of Quanta as they travel to Teyvat, it would explain why this bubble universe concept is news even to the Abyss sibling. And here we need to discuss the Sea of Quanta a little more. For one, it reacts differently to different people. Some can create artificial bubble universes, others can create these universes simply from their memories. But it is also a very dangerous place, and once you get in, getting back out is no easy task. So for two people to get separated in their journey wouldn't be very hard. So what if there was a real twin somewhere out there? Someone who has been traveling with RMC since who knows how long, but they didn't actually make it into Teyvat. Have you ever read the lore behind the Starfell Lake? It states, a poem says that a star once fell to the earth, forming this lake. Star, not stars. I believe this may have been the traveler first reaching Teyvat somewhere in the past. Could this have been an actual star? Well, no, there's no way. You see, during the event in Reconciled Stars, the things in the sky that we call stars actually fell to the earth. They are not actual stars, they are Stella Fortuna, little rocks. Much too little to create a crater that size, at least they surely didn't during the event. And in the opening cutscene, we do see two shooting stars representing the twins getting dangerously close to the ground over Mondstadt, so I don't believe they could have landed much farther. And sure, there were two stars, but this is the traveler recounting their story to Paimon. This is what they think happened. But they probably weren't conscious during the process, considering that they were slumbering after they fell. So it's entirely possible their twin wasn't with them. Which explains why the supposed twin gone Abyss sibling just decided to wake up and leave the traveler behind for some reason. They didn't. because back then they still didn't exist. We know from Nahida that they just randomly spawned in Canria sometime before the Cataclysm. Remember how I said some people can create entire bubble universes from their memories? Memories and dreams aren't all that different. You dream about information that has been inputted into your brain via your experiences, your memories. We also have Nahida, the god of dreams, who is very strongly associated with Irminsul, which stores memories. We know the travelers spent the 500 years they were under the Sustainer seal dreaming. But what if they were dreaming after they reached Teyvat as well? Could the contents of their dreams impact the reality of this bubble universe? Since they expected their twin to be there, could their dreams create an image of them in this world? In Honkai, we have seen characters who travel to these bubble universes experiencing things that the people who actually belong to them cannot. That reality doesn't fully have them in its grasp. The traveler surely fits the description. They are able to wield all of the 7 elements, well, eventually. They experience things in a way others cannot, like their sensitivity to all non-human energies, and they can interact with the statues of the 7 and the teleport waypoints when no one else seems to be able to. They are different from every other being that belongs to Teyvat, with the exception of the Abyss Twin. We know they belong to this world, yet they wield the same powers the Traveler does. But if Teyvat is simply mirroring back the Traveler's memories and expectations, then it's totally reasonable for this reflected image of their twin to possess these powers, as well as memories of their quote-unquote shared past. Where does that leave the Traveler's actual twin? Well, there is no real way to tell. They might be adrift in the Sea of Quanta, or they might have landed in some other world, maybe even in another timeline of Teyvat, with a different history. If it too reflected an image of the Traveler, then they might not be any the wiser. If it didn't, they might be looking for the Traveler right now. The twin stories might perfectly mirror one another for all we know, which actually is an idea that fits in very neatly with the fact that you can pick either of them at the start of the game. But that's just my theory. I wanted to share this one with you because it's an alternative to my previous one where I hypothesized that the Traveler might be the Shade of Light and the Abyss sibling their creation. Do I actually believe this to be true? While it's totally possible, I don't think it's very likely, because it would require Genshin and Honkai to be much more linked than what it has been hinted to. But it was still a fun theory to explore. What do you think? Please let me hear your thoughts in the comments, but be mindful about spoilers. Anyway, my name is Blue and I'll see you again soon. Safe journey, travelers!